Welcome back to the Global Gaming Network. Another episode of Power Rankings is upon us. We've got Rocket League World Championship coming up September 9th. So we got to rank the top 5 teams that are attending. Joined with me today is going to be Andy, our resident Rocket League expert. How are we doing today?
Doing pretty good, man. I just flew in here on my Octane, scored a couple goals on the way in. I'm feeling pretty darn good. Just for all intents and purposes, just in case anybody's at home for the entire season has accumulated to this exact moment. We've had 3 super majors throughout the entirety of the year from Raleigh, Birmingham, and EWC. Should be a rooting good time once we do get to that World Championship.
It's been all over the place, to be honest. There's been different teams popping off left and right. We've seen some teams kind of really make a name for themselves within their own region. Internationally, it's been a bit of a toss-up at times. But, of course, we've got a ranking that comes down to some hard data, how these teams have been performing. And we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Number 5 on the list, that's going to be Dignitas. So the European squad has been kind of quiet at the start of the season, a 9th place finish in Birmingham. But then they explode at the Raleigh Major and end up in the grand final. This team has definitely been on the rise, I would say, throughout the course of the year. I've got a lot of faith in apparently Jack and had some personal experiences with him. I know he is locked in and ready to go, but they've got some stiff competition. Do you think that Dignitas can make a Cinderella run?
I don't know if the full Cinderella run will be absolutely on the cards, but I do like their chances. I mean, as you progress through the entirety of the season, you go back getting eliminated by GK Esports, losing that map number 5 back at Birmingham, 2nd place, just losing to Falcons in the grand finals. And then the only loss that they had within that group stage was also to the Falcons as well. It's probably the best as they look all year. You go to the Esports World Cup, and well, this is where this team finally got their get back. They finally beat GK, but still only placed top 8. So they're progressively getting better, but versus all the other top teams outside of GK, they have not gotten a single win. So that's my biggest concern for them. They'll definitely make it to the playoff stage, but how far they can go is completely up to their practice.
Yeah, we'll have to see how they fare on the big stage. Like we said, top 8, probably not what they were looking for at EWC, but we know they're capable of more because we've seen it. So, but let's go ahead and get into number 4 on the list. That is going to be NRG. So this team has had a lot of success in the past. Haven't yet got a win under the NRG banner, but on that old G2 banner, they did win a tournament last year in London and also finished 2nd at the World Championship. So we know this roster is full of talent, but is NRG finally ready to win another big one, or is the competition just too strong right now?
I mean, they've been at the mountaintop. They're just trying to chase to be able to get to that exact point in time. Again, they just cannot get past Vitality and Karmine Corp. You go back to all the losses they've had on this entire season so far, every single major loss has either been to Karmine Corp, which we'll get to them in a bit, spoiler alert, or Vitality. And I think that when you're looking at those 2 losses, you're not really hurting too much until you go back to look at what this team's able to do. Atomic, Beast Mode, and Daniel. You already pointed out, this is the former G2 Esports roster that was there. 2nd place Copenhagen, won the London Major, and then they got the 2nd at the World Championship, and they've been kind of chasing that Purple Dragon ever since, right? Here's that winning moment just this last season where they were able to finally reach such a big height, but Raleigh being in that top 4, Birmingham top 4, top 8 at EWC, I think that they're kind of getting a reality check, and whether they're trying different things or they're kind of building up this tension for their fans going into the World Championship, I do not know. But again, they know what it takes to be a World Championship roster. They just got to put it all together.
Yeah, they've done it before. My concern is maybe they've been getting a little bit too complacent, after so much success last year. Maybe you're not working as hard to keep up with the competition this year. Maybe they're just getting outworked by the competition. That's kind of what it feels like. They've been on a downward trajectory, but we still have them at number 4 because we think they still have what it takes. They just got to show it to us. But let's go ahead and get into number 3 on the list. This is my favorite team to look out for. If I did these rankings, I might put them in first, to be honest, but it's going to be Team Vitality. And that's going to be with Zen, Monkey Moon, and Exotic. Now, Zen, of course, has been the talk of the Rocket League community for the past few years. Finally 18 years old. It feels like it wasn't too long ago that he got banned for competing underage for a year at age 14, but now he's on the scene. He won his World Championship in 2023, and then his 2 new teammates, Monkey Moon and Exotic, they won the thing last year. So this whole team is full of world champions. They know how to step up to the occasion at this tournament specifically. Do you think they can put it together and win this year too?
It's kind of the same conversation we were just having with NRG Esports, right? Just because you have an entire team of world champions doesn't mean you're going to always be able to put it together on the day, whether that is in your practice or being able to showcase all of that against the other top teams has not been consistent as far as Vitality is concerned. You go back to one of their best placing all season was at Raleigh. I was talking about Dignitas earlier. The team that they beat to face Falcons in the grand finals was this Vitality team. They lost that semifinal 1-4, and those maps that they lost were not close. They were making them look absolutely silly. But they go in towards EWC, they get into the top 4. They took EK Esports all the way to a map 7, and then within the group stage, I want to say that they lost 3-4. Oh no, that was for the third place match that they lost to the Falcons as well for fourth place. So it's kind of a tale of two different evils, right? You go to the accumulation of this team having a cracked out player like Zen. He's always going to be your playmaker. World champions with Monkey Moon and Exotic, that's all great, well, and fun, but they got to be able to piece it together versus the top teams. And as far as recency is concerned, they've been unable to do so.
Yeah, they're definitely not performing to their own standards, I would say, but this team has what it takes for sure. Totally. It's just going to be really who shows up on that day, right? So we expect them to be there Sunday. If they can come out on top, we'll have to see. Let's get back into the list. And this team has been so consistent this year already. And that's, of course, going to be Team Falcons. Now, this squad, they got top 6 in Birmingham, which was kind of low, but then they finish with a win at Raleigh and then get 3rd at EWC. So definitely an upward trajectory. This team has beaten anybody and everyone on the planet. It's just a matter of, can they do it again here at the World Championship? Is this Falcons' year to claim the crown, you think?
I'm not too sure, because you can go back to that playoff bracket, the way that they won Raleigh, and people would argue that it was probably a lot more favorable for them to end up winning. That if they lost that way, that the way that the bracket was shaking up, it would have been more of a surprise than anything. But I digress. The top 6 at Birmingham, you go to the 3rd place at EWC, and in that matchup versus Karmine Corp, we'll probably see it here in the highlights as well, is that very much so could have gone to a map number 7. And where it could have gone after that goal that concluded the entire series, it's tough to be able to gauge. We've been able to see this team all the way up at their highest high. You go to EWC with the crowd behind them, the fans absolutely love them. This is the one team, not the only team, but a full Saudi Arabian team. So you know that the backing's going to be there. We know what the Falcons establishment is able to bring for these guys as well. And honestly, it is starting to supersede not only what we are seeing in the game. These guys are gelling really well together, and I think that that is a really scary thing for how fundamentally sound that they can be. That is part of the reason why you said it's so wonderfully part of their consistency. Top 6 is not a big deal. Won Raleigh, and then they got 3rd place. I mean, you can only go backwards after winning an event, I suppose, but if you lost to Karmine Corp, the world's #1 team, not too bad.
Okay, well, I think you might have just spoiled our #1 guys. But yeah, this team of Falcons, they've been just dominating everything in the Middle East. My concern is they don't get as much practice against the international teams because they just are so far ahead of their region. So, but regardless, they've still been performing on the international stage just fine, even without great practice. So hopefully they got some good scrims lined up. Let's talk about #1 on the list. Like we said, we already spoiled it. Just throw it up there. It's Karmine Corp. They've been having a crazy year so far. I mean, they're winning a lot of tournaments. They won Birmingham. They fall top 8 in Raleigh, but then they come back and win the Esports World Cup. So they're the most recent champions. They seem to be in form. They've got Batira, who a lot of people are saying could be the greatest of all time. Do you think that this is like a new dynasty? Are they going to take this down as well?
They also have Drawley, one of the greatest support players to ever play Rocket League as well, just setting up Vateria for all the different moments for success at the same time. And look, Karmine Corp going into this, the reason why I'm continuously spoiling it, if you were watching this video at home and you didn't already assume that Karmine Corp were going to be the #1 team, you haven't been watching Rocket League all season. So I'll go ahead and inform you again what Eli had already told you is that at Birmingham, absolutely nobody was touching this team whatsoever. When they lost at Raleigh to Twisted Minds of all teams, people were starting to feel like, okay, maybe Birmingham was a little bit of an excuse, but then they come into EWC again, going up against the home crowd cheese against the Falcons, being able to beat them in that game 6, I think was quite telling to be able to see the plateau that this team is currently on, because I will absolutely agree. I think Vateria is probably the best Rocket League player that we got in the game to date and across his entire illustrious career. And honestly, if it wouldn't push us all comes to shove, and it's against another top team that we have on this list or any other team that they face, they have a winning percentage on this season. Not any other team that we have on this list can say that same fact.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you go from a 1st place to a top 8, you wonder which one was the fluke. But the 3rd tournament, you come back and you win that. Yeah. I think we know the top 8 was the fluke out of the 3. So congrats for Karmine Corp for making our #1 on the list. They're definitely the team to look out for at the World Championship. But let's talk about our honorable mention for this episode. It's a team that might surprise a couple people. We thought, maybe GK would be the one, but no, we're gonna throw it to Space Station Gaming. Now, this team has had kind of a brutal start to the year. They missed the first major. They didn't even qualify for it. They bombed out. of the 2nd and 12th to 14th place. But at EWC, they got a top 8. So this team is on the rise. They are definitely the number 2 team in America, in my opinion, of course, to NRG. But do we think that this team has potential to be a real threat at the World Championship?
I think your biggest argument as far as this team is concerned for Space Station Gaming is probably what they were able to do at EWC. To your point, again, through groups, they ended up getting that win versus TSM 3-1, but even most importantly, that was a win versus Twisted Minds to be able to qualify for the playoff stage. And I think what's most important about that, say what you will in between Raleigh, that same Twisted Mind teams that actually beat Karmine Corp, world number 1, they ended up missing out on that, on such an altercation. For what the reason was is beyond me. But what I do know for a fact is that Space Station Gaming has progressively been getting better. Again, not qualifying for a major, top 12 to 14, and then top 8, being a team that was able to take the world's number 1 a series off of them and to the brink, I think is a statement for its own self. Look, if NA already had all of its hope for NRG already and they need an extra tank of copium, yeah, I'm going for SSU.
Yeah, honestly, you look at their brackets, and it's tough. When you're one of the lower seeds, you're often running into the world's best early on. And if they had an easier bracket, it's possible that they could have made a deeper run. Guess what? They've got a little bit of a better bracket now at the World Championship. Right. So I think this is their best opportunity, and that's why they've made our honorable mention. But it's been awesome talking Rocket League with you. We love ourselves some car soccer out here at GGN. We're going to be covering all the action. Make sure you guys don't miss the Rocket League World Championship. It's going to be an insane banger of a tournament. But on that note, make sure you guys tune in to the rest of our content here on GGN, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.